Hello, everybody. Steve Trowbridge here. Um, so this is just going to be another book review. I'm sorry if I sound a little bit weird. I think I'm coming down with something like a cold or something. I think I'm kind of allergies or something. I hope I'm not coming down with a cold. My sister was just sick the other day, so I hope I didn't catch anything. But anyways, this is going to be a review over Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan. I did a review for the first book, The Lightning Thief. You can check that one out. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Like, I enjoyed The Lightning Thief, but, like, I thought it was like, okay, that was pretty good, but, like, like, it's so hyped up. Like, it was really good, but it's like, I'm not, like, feeling, the, oh my God. But this is definitely a step up. It's not that the Lightning Thief was bad or anything; it was still very good. But this is it takes this the second one, Sea of Monsters, definitely takes it up to a whole nother level. Um, and it really makes me want to continue with the series. I mean, I already did, but this one really makes me want to continue. Like, I can't wait to start the Titan's Curse, which I also have. I don't have the last two books, but I will be ordering those soon. You bet. But I really like this book. I won't go through every single detail of the plot. I mean, I'm assuming most people have read this. And yes, I know, I am just now reading this. It only took me a little over a decade to start it, but I finally started it. But anyways, well, like I said, I think most of you probably know what it's about. Most of you have probably read it already. I really liked, Percy is still awesome. Percy is probably one of my favorite, so far Percy has probably become one of my favorite protagonists, like, out of any, like, children, young adult series, whatever you want to call it. Even though it is labeled as, like, a children's series or whatever, everyone loves it, children, teens, adults, everyone can love it. That's how good Rick Riordan is. That's how good this series is. I like how he blends in kind of like modern day stuff and humor and Greek mythology, and he mixes it all together, and it works. Like, if anyone else was writing it, it probably wouldn't work as well, but with him, it works. It's awesome. Uh, we got the new character Tyson, who is a Cyclops, and they kept saying Cyclops in like the um, uh, I can't remember. I always forget the word I'm looking for, but Cyclops in the multiple term. I know that's not the right way to say it, but Cyclops in like the plural term. That's why I was saying plural. I'm guessing it's Cyclopes because it was Cyclopes instead of just the S at the end. So I'm guessing it's Cyclopes. I'm guessing. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but that's how I pronounced it. But Tyson, he's he looks older than he really is. He has the mentality of like a 7 or 8 year old. So for me, it was kind of like he's not mentally challenged or anything, but Cyclops is generally, from what I got, aren't the brightest, but Tyson is like really good at building things, working with like metal and stuff. So he is definitely smart in his own right, in his own way. But spoiler alert, I guess if you haven't read this book. But Percy eventually does find out that Tyson is his brother. That because Tyson is a son of Poseidon, and so that makes them half brothers. They're not full brothers, obviously, but they're makes them half brothers. That was kind of cool. Throughout this book, you kind of because Percy just thought that because Tyson was just a friend of Percy's that he had made at the beginning of the book, but then he learns that he's his brother, and that relationship kind of develops over the course of this book. And by the end, it's just like I don't know, it's a pretty nice, it's a cool brotherly, brotherly love, relationship. I kind of like that. I thought that was really cool, because at first Percy was kind of embarrassed to have Tyson as his brother, but then as the story went on, he kind of realized how much, how much he cared about Tyson and everything. I thought that was pretty cool. Um, Annabeth was cool too in this book. I mean, she was her usual smart, brilliant, badass self. She should be smart though, cause since she's the daughter of Athena. Um, you know, uh, they were on quite a few ships in this book, weren't they? Um, I thought the ship they were on when Clarice picked them up. You know, Clarice is another character in this book that I kind of liked because in the first book she was kind of just like a hard ass bully kind of, but in this book she gets a little bit of development. I'm guessing that Clarice is going to get more character development as the series goes on, but it's like you get to see what kind of makes her into such a hard ass because Ares is her father, the god of war, and you know Percy sees Ares talking to Clarice because Percy, of course, in this book is on a mission to get the Golden Fleece and to rescue his friend Grover from Polyphemus. And Ares and then Clarice, because Clarice was actually assigned the mission, but Hermes came and, well, long story short, Percy ends up going on the mission anyways to save Grover because he doesn't have a lot of time. And then Hermes actually sees him beforehand and gives him supplies like vitamins, like multivitamins, and a bag of air and stuff. I don't know what the exact name of it is, but yeah. So that was pretty cool. That interaction with Hermes was pretty cool. But back to my point, Clarice actually got the mission, and at one point, Clarice gets them, Percy and Annabeth and Tyson, and brings them onto her ship. And after they escape, I believe it was after they escaped. No, wait a minute. No, it wasn't after they escaped Luke's because they got captured by Luke briefly, and then they escaped, and then they went to that swampy area, and then eventually they were on Clarice's ship. But anyways, it was run by a bunch of dead Confederates and everything, so they were kind of like zombies, except they weren't, but they were kind of like undead. I thought that was kind of creepy. That's kind of cool though. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is the point I'm trying to get to is Percy saw like Clarice talking to Ares, and Ares basically says, "You better not fail me. You better not embarrass me, because if you do, you are going to suffer." That's basically how he says. That's basically what he says. To put it, to put it short, the short version, just you better not embarrass me. And Clarice is just like, you see her weaker side because she's always a hard ass, but like in this, when she's talking to Ares and Ares is being such a dick, and you really see Clarice, like I said, her weaker side. She's saying that she will succeed in this mission, and Ares is just like, you better. And so I mean, I kind of felt sorry for Clarice in that because you get the sense that her father Ares is harder, or not harder, but just very hard on his children, including her. And he also said, I should have gotten one of my sons to do this mission. They could have done a better job. And Clarice is like, I can do it. I can succeed. So even though she is, a big time hard ass and a big time, I don't want to say bully because she's not a bully exactly. She's just, it's her mentality, I guess, and how she was, since her father is a dick, I guess that just generally that would kind of pass on. But I don't really want to call her a bully. I mean, she is kind of a bully, but you know, but even though she is that way, I still felt kind of bad for her, and I kind of did want her to, have some success in this book and have some of the glory, which she did. She ended up doing. You know, they do end up, and the part with the sirens was really cool because Annabeth, for some reason, and even though she's really smart, she kind of made a dumb decision when she wanted to actually listen to the sirens because she wanted to know what her deepest desires were, and it would make her wiser if she survived the altercation. But you get to learn more about Annabeth there too, because you learn that she's really, because instead of, another reviewer pointed this out, her desires could have been like riches and everything, but it wasn't. It was just showing her family and her friends and that they were doing all right. It really shows that Annabeth is really a selfless person. She's a good person. She's very selfless. So that was really cool too. And eventually they do get to Polyphemus, and they do rescue Grover because Annabeth puts on the cap of invisibility, and she's sorry, she's pretending to be nobody, And I thought that was really cool because when I was reading that, I was like, wait a minute. I remember that because I remember that story with Perseus, I think, because and back in like my ninth grade year, high school, freshman year of high school, we talked about that. We read about Perseus. I remember that. Like I remember, yeah, he called himself nobody, and so I thought that was really cool. How I mean, I know it's Greek mythology. That's the point of the series, but I really thought that was cool how Rick Riordan just blended that in, mixed that actual Greek mythology in with the characters and everything. I just thought that was really cool. But they do that. They uh kind of get their asses kicked by his Polyphemus until Percy basically just gets pissed off and says fuck this and just kicks Polyphemus' ass pretty much. He does get tricked, but he still ends up Tyson comes in, like Tyson comes back and like pretty much saves him. That was really cool too. And they end up getting the fleece, and they end up bringing it back eventually because the tree, I forgot to mention that the tree at Camp Half-Blood has been poisoned, and of course Luke, who is the, apart from Kronos, like the main antagonist of the series so far, poisoned the tree, and he wants the golden fleece so he can, bring Kronos to life, so that way it'll take less time, which I think that's what he was wanting to do. But so obviously Clarice, he gives the fleece, Percy gives the fleece to Clarice and says, look, you can take it back, so that way she will still be able to succeed, and, and that shows that Percy is kind of selfless too, in a way, so that was really cool that he did that for Clarice, and hopefully Clarice and Percy can become, like, friends. I think they will eventually. I think she'll probably always be, like, that hard-ass friend, but I don't know, it's still cool anyways, but, and then obviously they get ambushed by Luke, and, Percy goes to battle Luke, and Percy pretty much gets his ass kicked. But then Riordan and the other centaurs come and help him, and that was pretty cool. Riordan is a pretty cool character too. I like him. And then eventually they get back to the camp. And what else? What else? I mean, Luke is really just a bitter. I mean, he's antagonist, but I think he's just very bitter because he feels like his father has abandoned him, and that his father doesn't care about him. Even though that's not exactly true, it's just that the gods, I mean, they can't always intervene when their children, their mortal, well, demigod children are in trouble. And Hermes pretty much points that out at close to the end of the book. But anyways, they have the chariot race, they win, and just when you think about it's about to be a happy ending, of course things start to go downhill again. This thing starts to go down again, and, Percy gets a letter from Poseidon that says, brace yourself, so something big is going to happen. And then, sure enough, the fleece does its job too well, as one of the chapters put it, and Thalia is brought back to life. Kind of. She's not in tree form anymore, and Percy actually dreamed about her, I think, earlier in the book, so that was kind of, foreshadowing, but so yeah, Thalia is back alive, and things are going to go down in the next book. So yeah, that's basically my summary of the book. Really enjoyed it. It picks things up even more than in The Lightning Thief. Really, really like this book. Really enjoyed reading it. Doesn't take you too long. It's not terribly long, so it's an easy read, but still very enjoyable. I'd definitely give it a 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely enjoyable. Definitely recommend this book and the series. I love the series. I mean, this is really the book that made me love the series so far. I mean, I did really enjoy The Lightning Thief, but this is the one that really made me enjoy this series, and it's really going to make me a fan and really make me want to go forward with the series. So, good book. I recommend it. 5 out of 5. Love the characters, love the humor, Greek mythology, everything about it. Can't wait to start on Titan's Curse. And yeah, so that's my review for The Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan. And that's it for this video, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.